They say hell is a place beneath the earth. But in the Middle Ages, humans built it with their own hands. Machines that didn't just kill. They experimented on pain itself. And the terrifying part? Many of them were used in the name of God. Welcome to the Medieval Files. Today, we open the darkest chapter of human invention. The torture devices that defined an era of agony. Deep beneath the Tower of London, there was a cell known as the Rat Dungeon. It filled with filthy water from the Thames. And when the tide receded, it left behind the most merciless executioners nature ever made. Rats. Imagine being chained in total darkness, listening to hundreds of tiny claws scratching the stone, getting closer and closer. Then you feel it, the first bite, then another, and another. In China, torturers improved on the design. A naked man was tied to a table. A metal cage filled with rats was placed on his stomach. When coals were set on top, the rats had only one way out. Through him. Their claws dug deeper and deeper, until flesh became tunnels. That wasn't punishment. It was a lesson in fear. Trident emblem, the heretic's fork. To question faith was heresy. And for that, there was a tool of truth. A small metal rod with two sets of sharp prongs. One pressed into the chest, the other beneath the chin. The strap around the neck made movement impossible. Even swallowing caused agony. The prisoner could neither sleep nor rest. Hours turned into madness. And when exhaustion finally won, their head fell forward, and the spikes pierced their throat. It didn't kill immediately. It simply reminded them what awaited beyond confession. Horse the Spanish horse. They called it the wooden donkey. But this was no toy. The prisoner was stripped and made to ride the triangular beam, the entire body weight pressing on a razor-sharp edge. Sometimes the torturer added weights to the legs, pulling the victim down until skin and muscle gave way. If they wanted to be cruel, they tickled their feet to make them move, because movement meant tearing. Eventually, the pelvis split, the body broke, and silence followed. The pair of anguish. It looked elegant, a bronze object shaped like a flower. But this flower bloomed in hell. The pair of anguish was inserted into the mouth, or elsewhere, depending on the crime. With a twist of a screw, the petals opened, ripping tissue from within. It was designed not to kill quickly, but to unravel dignity piece by piece. Since it was never washed, infection became its final torture. Today, some sit behind museum glass, beautifully polished, as if time had forgiven them. The saw. If pain had a sound, this is what it would be. The victim was hung upside down, blood flooding the brain to keep them awake. Then the saw began, from between the legs, slowly cutting upward. The Ottomans used it on traitors and spies. The Hungarians on generals. And for the condemned, death came only when mercy finally ran out of body to cut. Droplet the water cure. Too much water can drown you from the inside. The water cure forced liters down the throat, until the stomach swelled like a drum. Bones creaked. Veins burst. Then, when the body couldn't take more, the torturer beat the abdomen, forcing the water back up, only to start again. Later came the Spanish water torture. Cloth over the face. Water poured again and again, simulating drowning. Poet François Villon survived it, but never wrote again. Gear, the intestinal crank. This one had no questions, no mercy. Just a crank and time. The abdomen was cut open, the intestines hooked to a spindle. Then, slowly, the handle turned. The victim watched themselves unravel. Inch by inch, foot by foot. 18 feet later, came silence. Death by patience. Today, these devices sit in glass cases. Clean, quiet, admired even. But every dent, every rusted edge, once echoed with screams. The Middle Ages remind us of one truth. Cruelty can be engineered. So the next time you hear the word civilized, remember this. It's only a few centuries old. This has been the Medieval Files. Subscribe, because the next chapter is even darker than this one.